How about now? Can you guys hear me? Post in the chat box. Let me know if you can hear me. A quick tech check. Let me know if you can see me. I'm super excited to be on today. Awesome. Yes. Henry, yes. Andrea, yes. Anton, yes. Tell me where you guys are coming from or calling in from. I want to hear where you guys are from. There's quite a few people on the line, so we'll wait about 5-10 seconds before we really get deep dive into this presentation. Yes, Melissa, North Carolina, love it. Anton from Delray Beach. Andrea from Alpharetta, Georgia. Wisconsin in the house. Too bad for the Bucks yesterday, but I think they got a good chance of going. Edmonton, Canada, right around the corner from me. I'm from Vancouver. Welcome, everybody. My name is Bob Mangat, and today I'm going to teach you about how to build, grow, and scale regenerative medicine in your practice. Here's the thing. Today, my goal is going to show you how to create expert status, create expert celebrity-like status in your marketplace. I'm going to talk about the perfect patient funnel, traffic and conversion, and why traffic really sucks if you can't convert that traffic into real patients. And then I'm also going to talk about building to scale. How do you take all of the things that you built from a foundational standpoint, taking it from the ground up, and then reversing all of that, what you just had built, and using it to build multi-seven-figure businesses or seven-figure profit centers in your companies. I've done it. If you look on the back wall over there, what we call is a 2 Comma Club award in the internet space. We have these things just like you guys have your awards. We have ours. There's 2 of them, and those are 2 Comma Club awards. And what that is basically with one website in a span of about 8 months, I did $1 million just off one website. And then in the next 4 months, I was able to do an additional one, which really sort of, I really want to kind of get you guys to understand that it does take a little bit of time if you guys have ever invested into digital marketing or media services or Facebook ads or anything like that. I'm sure many of you guys had, and maybe you've had a great success. Maybe you've had a not such a great success. So I'm going to tell you why you're not having a great success, and I'm going to show you exactly what you need to do to fix those things. And Ruber from Miami is on. Sweet. I've been born and raised in Vancouver, BC. I created my first online business at the age of 20. I built one of the largest real estate brokerages and membership training companies in Canada. I did about 30 million plus in 18 months. And the reason why I'm sharing that with you today is because everything that I'm about to teach you today is not something that is theory. I didn't learn it over a weekend course like many of the digital agencies that are popping up these days. I am 42 now today, actually in March 28th, I turned 42 years old. And why I'm sharing that with you is because I've been doing it for 22 years. And I've been doing it using these exact same principles, creating celebrity status, creating patient funnels, creating perfect funnels, and then also building a brand that really elevates your status so that people will know, like, and trust you, and they'll pay you what you're worth. So you're not actually competing against price and your competition. So 30 million plus, when I learned these strategies, in fact, when I was in the real estate business, I'll share a little bit about my story. When I was in the real estate business, I actually was making $150,000 every single year for 7 years straight. $150,000 a year I was making, $150,000 or $175,000 I was spending. And if you're on this call, then some of you probably can really recognize with that or kind of understand that. It's like everything you make, you're putting it back into your business. And after a while, you're like, man, you know what? I got to reinvest. Cool. I got to reinvest my money. I got to reinvest my money. And all of a sudden, like 10 years goes by and you're like, man, this is not the reason why I got into business. I got into business because I wanted to create financial freedom, to create stress-free freedom. And I understand it. I know it. I've been through it. Like I said, I've created my first online business at the age of 20. I built one of the largest real estate brokers in Canada. I'm a best-selling author for The Automated Entrepreneur. In fact, the other book that you see here is called Pain Inc. And Pain Inc. is my latest book, which is how to build expert celebrity status in your community that creates a mass army of patients willing to pay you cash for your services. And that's really what we're talking about, is how to get cash for your services. Insurance is easy. You pick up the phone. It's like, what's your insurance number? What insurance program do you have? Okay, great. You know what? We'll take it. Come on in. That's a very easy sell. But when you're trying to sell $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, if you're in the regenerative space, cosmetic surgery space, dentistry, doesn't matter what it is. If you're trying to sell that stuff, people have choice. They're going to choose you because of who you are and the status and the celebrity-like authority positioning that you create. Otherwise, you cannot command the dollars that you want to command. And you'll be stuck trying to undercut your competition. You won't actually have the ability to command the dollars that you want. Okay? And that's exactly what I'm going to talk about today. I've been featured on Forbes, Huffington Post, Bloomberg, many other radio, TV, all of that kind of stuff. Generated over 100,000 leads through direct mail, TV, radio, social, video, all of that, different media channels. And I'll tell you what works, what doesn't. I've spent $1 million plus of my own money, not yours, not my clinics, not my doctors that I deal with. I consult for some of the leading regenerative medicine, anti-aging, and medical clinics across the country. And I'm a founder of invigoMedia, EverGenius, which is a software program, and honestdoctor.com. We're also just recently became one of the very few HIPAA certified, HIPAA compliant, not certified, HIPAA compliant agencies across the country. Every one of my staff members goes through strict training in order for them to understand what HIPAA is and how it relates to a relationship with you and a marketing company or a digital media consulting agency. You see, I have done a lot of things right in my business. I've created a great brand. You see my pictures of my son and my 2 kids and my wife. I've created many things in my life that I'm super proud of. I've created a great business. I employ a lot of people. I feed needy. I build schools. I help, do all of the things that as entrepreneurs, when we start to make money, we start to look other places to create, to share the wealth, right? And so I've done that. I've done a lot of things that were right, but I've also, guys, I've done a lot of things wrong too. And I use every scenario, everything that I've gone through in my life as a stepping stone and a block in order for me to get better, in order for me to create great businesses, great relationships, meaningful relationships, and those types of things. When I was going through, I shared a little bit about my success story, and if you actually I'll give you the text in phone number here in a little bit, but you can text, get all the slides, and we'll get you all that information to you. I'll pop it into the chat. But when I was going through my real estate business, one of the things that I'll step back a little bit. When I was growing up, my parents, immigrant parents, came here to live the dream, work 3 jobs. There's 3 of us, me, my brother, and I have 2 brothers. And it really kind of dawned on me really they passed down a really great work ethic to me. And one of the things that they did when they were, started to save a little bit of money, and they said, you know what, we want to invest in a business. We want to create something that we can be proud of. We can, pass on to our kids or whatever it may be. So they went out and they invested in a corner store. It was an ethnic grocery store. And that ethnic grocery store, long story short, it went belly up in a span of about 3 years. And so, number one, they said location, and sometimes that is the truth, and sometimes that's furthest from the truth. The product, the service was not the right product or service in that market that they actually put it in. So you can have a great location, but if that product and service does not fit the demographic, then it doesn't matter what you're going to do, people aren't going to flock in, right? So they had this issue, and I remember when we actually lost the store, there was times where we lived in a van, we lived in the store, we lived in our cars, and it was tough times. My parents basically ran 3 jobs to put food on the table. They weren't very educated, and so they had to work these odd jobs that would bring them in the money that we could. So one of the things that really stuck with me at that point in time was like, man, I do not want to live like this. And going through those challenges and growing through those things really brought me out to the other side. And I started to learn about, number one, what I really studied over the past 15 years is buyer psychology. How do buyers buy? What makes them think? What makes them trigger? And how can we take what they buy from a face-to-face? If I get somebody in front of you, chances are you're going to sell them. But how do you take that face-to-face contact and mimic it online so they can actually get that same they can get the exact same process or system that you have created inside your office? And Gertrude, awesome, ever genius. Yeah, that's great. So that they can actually build, anyways, past that, my parents lose their store. I get back and I'm like, man, I do not want to live like this. And so ever since then, I went through 1 year of school. I got a college soccer scholarship. I went through 1 year of school. I quit. I started flipping real estate, and everything else from there was history. But I really learned the principles of business. And that's exactly what I'm going to share with you. It doesn't matter what business you're in. It could be regenerative medicine, aesthetics. It could be, cosmetic dentistry, cosmetic surgery. It could be real estate. It could be car dealerships. It could be accounting. It could be cupcakes. And I'm sharing those because I've actually consulted for every single one of those companies. My company today, invigoMedia, actually focuses on the medical space, but I'm sharing with you the exact strategies. Once you know this, you can implement and put these into play in any types of business. You see, when you generate a lead, let me switch gears a little bit. When you generate a lead, somebody that comes onto your website and they fill out a form, or let's say, for example, you go in and you talk to a advertising rep, and that advertising rep comes to you and says, listen, Bob, I want to put an ad, or you say to the advertising rep, say, Bob, I want to put an ad in the newspaper. Guess what they're going to say? They're going to come back to you and say, great, we have a distribution of 250,000 people. And you're going to get all happy because you're going to be like, well, that's great, because I'm going to put my ad in and 250,000 people are actually going to see my ad. And so you wait until Wednesday comes and you see your ad and you see this big, newspaper ad in the in the local newspaper, and you say, hey, listen, there's my ad. But the reality of it is how many of those people are actually searching for your service, right? There is a process that I built, and it's called the 97 and 3. And you see, 97% of the people are not ready to do business with you. 3% are, and this is what the 3% of the people. So 3% that will actually flip through those ads have already researched that certain service or product that you're selling, and they'll pick up the phone and call you, and those people are ready to do business. This is what 97% of the people that I've consulted with, medical clinics, doesn't matter, across the country, this is what they are looking after. This is what they're focusing on, is the 3%. I made my money in the 90%. 3% of those people are ready to do business with you now. That is where you are focusing. I know this because I've dealt with it. Last year, I flew 150,000 miles across the country, going inside of clinics, medical clinics. I built a $500,000 software program that I use to manage and market with a lot of our services. But going in, sitting with wives of clinic owners, physicians, nurse practitioners, everybody that is involved inside a clinic, I've sat with them and I've built this process based on that. So this is not theory, guys. This is actually things that I do. I still, to this day, walk inside of clinics and fix their whole sales process. 3% of those people are ready to buy now. That is where you are focusing, and it's probably where your competition is. Listen, the first thing that people do is they focus on media. Media is social or Facebook, Google. They focus on newspaper, radio, TV, right? When you think of you want to push an ad in, what do? You pick up the phone or you call a guy that's going to run some Facebook ads for you and say, listen, I want to run some Facebook ads. Here's my offer. Can you do that? And they're going to say, great, awesome. And then they'll run that ad for you, and then they're going to blame you because you did not close those leads. And they're going to say, listen, those leads, you're going to say those leads suck. They're going to say, well, they don't really suck because it's your problem. You're not following up properly. You're not doing what you should be. And I say, I call BS on all of that. Because if you understand this process, then you understand the behavior of a buyer. Let me give you an example. 3% of those people are ready to buy now. Anybody that if you run an ad, they're going to pick up the phone. They're ready to do business. They've researched you. They figured you out. They know not even just you. They figured out the service, right? They figure out all of those things, and they come back and they want to do business with you. Those are the people that are ready to do business now. You see, 10% of those people are gathering information, and they're going to buy soon, within the next 2 weeks or 30 days. You see, my sales team, myself, every time that we come in contact with people, Hey guys, can you hear me again? I'm not sure if we got some. Yes. Okay. Cool. Yes. So sorry. I have no idea what's going on here. But anyways, I'm going to keep going from where I kind of dropped off. I appreciate you guys sticking around. Hello again, Alyssa. Yeah. So what I was talking about is that 10% of the people are actually gathering information and they're willing to buy soon, right? Within the next 2 weeks or 30 days. And 87% of those people are kind of sort of thinking about buying, but not in the decision-making phase. And so what I'm talking about here is that people aren't ready to do business. So just because you run an ad, most times people are trying to sell them on something, yet they're not building any value, creating any expert status or authority as to why they should be doing business with you. So what normally tends to happen is that conversation about price, cost, and fee, right? And I'll give you a kind of a hint. Never ever say price, cost, or fee, because a price, cost, or fee means that they're never ever going to get anything back from it. And so if you want to change, sometimes it's just small things that you change in your language when you're describing something to a patient. All you got to say is an investment. It's an investment in your health. It's an investment in your body. It's an investment in your teeth. It's an investment in your face. Whatever it may be, this is going to change the way that you look, and you're going to get something out of it in return. Let me give you an example. I just bought a car recently, and my dad bought a car as well. And, you know, it took my dad almost 6 months to buy a car. But the first car that he saw, he went into a Mercedes dealership. That first vehicle that he saw, he actually ended up buying it 6 months later. Now, is he a different type of buyer? Yes, because when I go in and I buy something, I actually walked in, I put my car up on the hoist to get it fixed, get the brakes changed. I went into the other side of the dealership. I found another car and I said, leave that one there, I'll take this one. I wasn't looking for a vehicle. That's the type of buyer I am. If I want something, I go out and buy it. My dad has the ability to go out and do that today now, but he's still a different buyer, more cautious. Does it mean that he's a bad buyer? No. Does it mean we just need to nurture them a little bit longer? So if you're in business and you're in business for the long run, then what you have to do is you have to act like it. Right? Just because somebody came onto your website or filled out a form or created a lead or something like that, and they didn't do business with you that day, or they came into your office and they said, you know what, let me think about it. That just means that they want to think about it. Say, great, that's awesome. You know, what do you want to think about? Try to overcome their objections. But then what you do is then you put them on a drip campaign, you put them on an email sequence, you have follow-up calls. The National Sales Executive Association, I'll share with you in this. The National Sales Executive Association says that most sales, I believe it's like 80% of the sales, happen from the 8th to the 12th contact. Okay? So from the 8th to the 12th contact, 80% of your sales are happening. So 97% of your income, if you do it right, your advertising expense will pay off over the next 6 months. So don't look at it from a short-term gain. I was sharing with you right from the beginning at the presentation. I said, I won 2 Comma Club awards 2 times, but I didn't tell you that I won them in 1 month. It took me 8 months to refine the process and get it going. And guess what? The second one came so much sooner because I figured out the formula. And when you do that, you start to create what I call as hockey stick curve growth, right? You're going along, and you're getting minimal increements, and then all of a sudden something clicks, you figure out the formula, and then it just goes boom. And you reverse engineer that, and you create a great business for yourself. You start to put everybody in around you. I also want to share something else. There's something that I call the profit gap. I shared with you that I spent $150,000 in my real estate business, and then I actually spent $150,000 or $170,000. Now, the profit gap, there's one thing that you should be focused on in your business today, and that's the profit gap. The profit gap it's very simple. Your revenues are going like this. So if you're creating a great business, your revenues are going like this, but then right underneath it is your expenses are going like this, right? So that's what I was saying is like you're spending 170, you're making 170, and maybe you're spending 160. So at the end of it, after tax, you're making a couple of grand, right? You do not want to be in business for that. What you want to do is you want to create this, and as you start to create it, don't keep building that expenses higher and higher and higher. Figure out ways to get that down so that you have a growth like this and then a decline in expenses. And in today's day and age, that's why I wrote the book. The Automated Entrepreneur, is because you can create those businesses based on how people act and react. You can start to create great campaigns for people where they will know, like, and trust you. And over time, 97%, 95, 97% of your competition, the people that are around you, the people that are on this call, don't follow up more than once. Somebody will go onto their website, they might send them an email, they might not. I can't even begin to describe how many times I've been on a website, I've filled out a form for high value stuff. Regenerative medicine, stem cell, cosmetic surgery. I'm just testing people. And their receptionist doesn't call back, and when they do, they're rude, right? That's your front line. That's the VIP person. Sometimes the first thing that we do is when we hire somebody, we throw them in the reception and saying, hey, figure this out. That's the wrong mistake. That should be a privileged position. They're the front lines. They're the one who's communicating with everybody. You have to pay them a good salary to get them up there, because then they're going to take care of the people that are going to pay you and take care of you. Does that make sense? Give me a yes. So 97% of your prospects are wildly neglected, and this is where the real money is. I shared with you in the beginning, 7 years, 150 in, 150 out. When I figured this out, I said, what do you mean? All I got to do is just create some campaigns, some emails, some direct mail, some text messages, some pick up the phone and call them, and just be there for 8 to 12 or 15 times until they make a decision. That's all I got to do? Yeah, that's all you got to do. And if you do that and you do it correctly, you'll win the business all of the time. Go ahead. Go and test out your competitors right now. Go do a search in your local market. Fill out the form. Go and check it out and see exactly how long it takes them to call back. If they're calling back right away, you got some competition, right? So here's the thing. Why most fail is they don't know how to target the right market. I talked to you about media. Most of the times people are like, well, I've got some extra money. I want to run some advertisements. And so they'll go back and they'll pick up the phone and they'll call an advertiser. And the advertising rep will come in and they'll do a nice little graphic for you. And what happens is, guess what? What happens is that they got some junior designer in the back trying to mark up or map up an ad for you. And they'll put out maybe a picture or a big logo of yourself, and you all list all these services that you have. But that really does not speak to somebody that is going through pain. I had 2 ACL surgeries. I've had stem cells in both of them, and I've had them in my back. And the reality of it is that I would never go to somebody that just talks about everything that they do. I want to go to somebody that specializes in knee pain, that specializes in ACL surgery. Specifically, if you want to get really down and get very specific, somebody that specializes in sports or soccer injuries, right? So being very, very specific allows you to command higher dollar value. So for example, if there's position A or person A that's got all these services that they provide, and then there's person B that they've got all these services that they provide, and then there's position C or person C who just says, I'm an expert and I deal with knee injuries for soccer players. And that's speaking to me, I would pay that guy whatever he's worth, regardless of whether or not you are more qualified or not. It's the way that he has positioned themselves. Give me a yes if you guys understand that. Be specific. You have to go right after your target market. Guys, focus on your patients, not your competition. A lot of people ask me, Bob, who's your competition? I say, I don't have any competition. And if I started to look at my competition, it doesn't mean that I'm not aware of the competition or who's out there. It just means that I don't focus on them. Here's the reason why. I told you I flew 150,000 miles. While my so-called competition is worried about what I'm doing, I could care less what they're doing, because I'm going inside of clinics to give you exactly what you guys need. I'm not looking at them. I don't waste time on them. So I urge you guys to stop looking at what everybody else is doing in your market and start listening to the patients, listening to exactly what it is that they want, understanding their needs, understanding their psychological buying behavior, understanding what is it that brought them into the office, because that'll change the business for you. You see, businesses have evolved in one way and one way only. A lot of you guys here, yes, I'm going to check on pricing and check their prices and specials. But here's the thing, and I'll talk to you right after this. But a lot of the times how businesses have evolved one way and one way only. If you are a medical doctor and you focus on, let's say, stem cells, and there's another medical doctor and they focus on stem cells, all of you guys get together and you're like, what do you do for marketing? What do you do for marketing? And what do you do for marketing? And you'll start to pick from that guy, from that person, from her, and then you'll say, let's put together this marketing campaign. And you slap it, throw it against the wall like spaghetti and hope it sticks, right? That's the wrong way of doing business. If you knew exactly what your patients want and understand, and you focus on your patients, you can give them exactly what they want, find out what their needs are, find out what their pain points are, and find out exactly what they're experiencing. Then you can command whatever money that you want. You understand their need. So rather than just throwing everything and saying, hey, we do all of this stuff, be specific. Create great programs, create great systems, create great follow-up campaigns. They're buying a VIP service from you, a white glove service. If they're spending $5,000, $7,000, $10,000, $20,000 with you, you got to give them a level of service that is not consistent with the way medical practices have evolved up till now. You got to change that. And if you can change that, you will win the business that are willing to pay you the dollars. What about pricing? Can we check this is a question, can we check their prices and specials? Sure, but don't follow it. Right? That's how, if you go on to Groupon, there's a whole bunch of people that are doing the exact same thing over and over and over again. Let me give you an example on pricing and packaging. In fact, I'm going to talk about it a little bit later, but let me give you an example. Let's say there's person A that's got a product for $5,000. And then there's person B that's got a product he's looked at your pricing and said, Gertrude's got it for $5,000. Maybe I should put it for $4,900, and I'll get the people that don't want to spend that extra $100. Okay, great. And then there's Bob that comes along, and Bob says, you know what, Gertrude's spending this, and Dr. London is doing $4,900. Bob's going to come in and say, I'm going to put my pricing at $7,500. The exact same price, the exact same service. I'm just going to amp it up. I'm going to call them as soon as they reach me. I'm going to do a little bit extra. You see, buyer psychology is like this. When buyers think, they're going to say, I wonder what he is doing for the extra $2,500 that those two aren't doing. That's the way we think. Let me give you an example. I bought a camera, Canon and a Panasonic. The Canon was $100 more. The Panasonic was $100 less. I walk into Best Buy and I asked the guy, I said, what's the difference between the Canon and the Panasonic? He says, there's absolutely nothing different. Exact same specs, just a different brand. And I said, that's not correct. I don't believe you. That one is $100 more. And I caught myself afterwards. I ended up buying the one that's $100 more. I went back and I looked at it and I said, oh, geez, you know what? The specs are exact same. This guy wasn't lying. It was the truth. But for me, I automatically assumed that because it was $100 more, it was better. And that's the way we think. That's the way we react. If you got two of the similar prices, look around you, two of the similar prices, put it up. People will come to you just to see exactly what it is that you do. And then understand what they're doing. When I say focus on your patients, not your competition, I said be aware of them. Be aware of what they're doing. How are they treating their clients? How many times are they following up? Are they picking up their phone? Are they rude? Are they this? Are they that? You can start to create a level of competitive advantage from everybody else, right? Does that make sense, Gertrude? A patient avatar is a fictional character. So once you've created this, you want to start to you know that these people are following up. So a patient avatar. My dad goes in and buys a Mercedes vehicle. He's that patient avatar. They know that person, a guy like my dad who's 70 years old, he's old school, he's going to go through everything, he's going to read every single article for the next 6 months. It's going to take over his life, and then he's going to buy it. It doesn't mean that he's not going to buy it, but that's a fictional character. That's a patient avatar or a customer avatar that we're going to create on that persona, right? We're going to create that person. We're going to stick them on the wall, and we're going to say, hey, listen, my dad's name is Sonny. Sonny buys after about 6 months, but these are the characteristics, and he's such a good, loyal person. If he comes in here, he's going to get the service, he's going to get everything, he's going to be awesome, but it takes him a little bit of time to buy, right? Whereas if you got a Bob fictional character or a patient avatar, You stick Bob on the wall, put a picture of Bob on there, and you say, Bob likes soccer, Bob drives an X car, Bob makes X amount of money, Bob lives in this neighborhood, Bob likes to be, buying the VIP programs, VIP services, whatever it may be. That's exactly the fictional character that you want to create. Okay? This is exactly what I'm talking about. The name, age, gender, marital status, children, location, occupation, household income, goals, values, challenges, pain points, objections, all of these things, their role in the purchase process. How many of you guys actually get on and you do a consultation call with somebody, and how many of you guys, can you guys hear me? It says it stopped again. Yeah, you can hear. Looks like it's good. So how many of you guys actually bring in a patient and, okay, good. It might be your connection, Dr. Mons. So how many of you guys actually bring in a patient and they say, I need to talk with my husband, right? That's an easy qualifier. On the phone, you basically just say, hey, listen, is there anybody else that is going to make the decision? Because I don't want the doctor to come in here and explain all this thing to you. I'm not going to take 45 minutes of his time to bring you in to you to say to this, right? And when you go back and you tell your husband, guess what? If my wife went in and she wants to go in and looks at a cosmetic surgery or anything like that, and she comes back and tells me, Bob, I went to a cosmetic surgeon and they said that, I should do these things underneath my eyes and blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to say, the first thing I'm going to say is, how much does it cost, dear? And she's going to say, it's going to cost $10,000. I'm going to say, no way. You're out of your mind, right? However, if I was in that, and that's how those conversations go when you let that person outside of your office. They cannot reiterate, there's no way, they cannot reiterate every single piece of value that you create at home. So what you have to do is you have to create qualifying questions in your office. Ask your staff to basically ask if there's anybody else that is going to be involved in the purchase process. If so, great. Guess what? I do a lot of my stuff for my dad. He's getting older, so I take him around. He asks me for advice. I take him around. I do whatever it is. I negotiate and end up buying it. He doesn't buy anything without me. Okay? I mean, he does, most of the stuff, but if it's like a big purchase, like the vehicle, he asks me for my advice. And so I'm that one that goes in there, and I'm that role in the purchasing process. At the end of the day, it is him. But if I said, no, don't buy it, Dad, don't do it, he's going to walk away, right? So understand who the people are in the purchase process. Write this stuff down. If you've got an email list, go to a company called towerdata.com. And if you haven't already, this is it's free. I think they might charge you a penny a record or something like less than that. But you can upload your database, and guess what? You get all of their information of your database. You can get all of their age, gender, income, your patient data, whatever it may be. You can go and put that in, and they'll spit it out. How do they get it? I didn't make this up. I use it to our advantage. How do they get it? Well, anytime that you go to Facebook and you enter in your likes, your dislikes, how much money you make, and all of these things, there's this big consortium of data. They throw it in there. Companies like Tower Data buy it, they aggregate it, and then they sell it back to you so that you can understand who your customers are. Okay? Tower Data. It gives you this: gender, age, home market value, length of residence, occupation, household income, education. Gives you all this stuff. Listen, guys, once you've created that and you understand that the prospects, and there's 3% and the 97%, you understand who these people are, you've created a perfect patient avatar, then you got to start to create some expert status material, right? You got to start to create educational videos, testimonial videos, Facebook Live blogs. Go to sevenfigureclinic.com. You can go there, you can sign up for my case study, and then you're going to start to get some emails from me. I walk you through a 10-day process. I never ask you to buy anything. I never ask you to give me your name or give me your information or anything like that. I want you to make the decision on whether or not I'm the best guy for you. And I want to create those value. I want you to use it so that you can start thinking about things a little bit differently. And then most of the people will come back to me and saying, hey, I really enjoyed your information. What is it going to take for us to work together? Right? So this is what it is. You're building the value, building credibility, you're building authority with people, creating educational videos, testimonial videos, Facebook Lives, blogs, articles, free reports, ebooks, newsletters, getting on the local TV shows, direct mail, books, right? I shared with you, I've written 3 books The Stem Cell Revolution. I've written the Pain Inc. I've written the Automated Entrepreneur. The law of reciprocity, you guys. So that's what creating the expert status means, is now I'm giving you something. I'm here freely giving you my time and giving you my energy. I'm giving you something that is going to help you take your business potentially to the next level so you can implement some of these things. And hopefully you'll remember that, right? That's the law of reciprocity. If I do something for you and I'm not even expecting for it back, if I ever pick up the phone and call you and saying, hey, do you remember this? I need a hand with this. Can you help me? And you're saying, yeah, man, you really taught me something on that webinar. I'd love to do something for you. That's the law of reciprocity, okay? But here's the thing, guys. When you actually start to create these materials, please, please, please do not start to create research journals that you're going to send off to your patients. Okay, we don't care about that stuff. We care about how it is. I was talking to one of my content writers today, and she put it really, really eloquently. She says, we try to humanize the message, right? Newspapers are written in 6th grade language. Why is that, right? Because they're in the business of selling newspapers, right? So my 4th grader, my 5th grader, they can both pick up the newspaper and they can read it, right? And that's exactly what you want to do, is you want to try to humanize the message. In fact, there's a thing called the Flesch-Kincaid Index. If you go and you search it, it's how Google rates your business online. If you're speaking at a college grade level, they'll actually, dock you some points on how you rank in the search results. So you want to make it very, very simple and easy. Anything that you give out to patients, don't overwhelm them, right? This is something, I don't know, we usually have this, but this is something that we create. In the back there, it's supposed to have like a separate, call to action or whatever it is, a pop-up. But in the back there, what happens is there's one of our doctors, I changed his business, and I'm saying this because I really did. And I just said one thing to him, and he took it and ran. I said to him, Jim, people want to see what you're saying. Stop writing all these blogs and all these things. Like you're getting too technical. And a lot of times when we talk, we're being very real with people, and that's what they want to hear. And so if you're not doing videos, if you're not doing those things, people want to see you. They want to hear you. They want to see you speak. They want to see if you know your stuff, right? And that's why we have a video on today, because they want to see you. You're judging me right now. Donald Trump speaks like a 6th grader. All politicians should. More than 40% of Americans have only basic literacy skills, right? Whether you like him or not, it's not political. I don't really care. He's talking to us not like we're stupid, right? So it's because we don't want to create major overwhelm for people. But once you started creating this content, you understand your patient avatar, you understand who those people are that are going to buy, you start to do these things. Now what you want to do, you start creating expert status, you've gone to 6th grade level, you got to start to look the part. Some of you guys do it great, but then you actually have to start to look the part. Creating beautiful materials, stuff like this, magazine, tickets, e-books, banner ads, graphics, really position yourself as a doctor. This is one of our doctors out in Cedar Rapids. He's one of the top knee pain docs in that area, and we've kind of coined him that as well. We've coined him the knee doctor, and he does a lot of regenerative medicine procedures. In fact, he's been growing 20% every single year and just got an award for one of the fastest growing companies in Iowa. And I'm proud to say he's been one of our clients for almost 3 years now, and we've had a great hand in building it. And so what we've done is we've positioned him. You should see his site before. It was absolutely horrendous. This is what it is. And if you look back at it, it's like we're putting him front and center. Understand, guys, people buy people, right? People buy people. They're buying you. I want to know if you know your stuff. I want to know if you are really experienced, right? And so people buy people, and that's what you got to do. You got to get out in the front. They don't buy this logo, Progressive Rehabilitation Medicine. I understand this site was not converting. We're converting at 10 to 13% of every single visitor that comes on the website. 10 to 13%. Every single visitor that comes on the website fills out a form or picks up the phone and calls us or gets on a live chat. And how do you do that, right? The average is only 1.49% or something like that. That's the average. And that's on a high end, right? How do you do that? You see, we changed his look. We changed the way that he actually presents himself. We put him up at the forefront. Rated one of the best pain management doctors. We look at the next thing, suffering from shoulder or knee pain. I said, Doc, I don't want you to focus on everything. I want you to focus on shoulders and knees. That's it. Because guess what? When you have knee pain, you've got back pain. When you have back pain, you've got probably a weight issue. And then maybe your shoulders aren't working. You see, it's called the bowling pin effect. You go after that one service that other people might come in first originally. The first thing that they're going to, man, I can't walk. I'm going to the state fair and I'm walking around. I couldn't even last a half hour, right? But the reality of it is they might be, too much up here or on the back or whatever it may be, right? Go after that one service. Give them a non-threatening way to get information, and also put some trust logos in there. There's certain things that 3 best rated U.S. News, he's been featured on these things. So somebody that doesn't know anything about him, they're like, oh man, they're associating those things with him, and they're building that brand and that perception of him, okay? These are some of the blogs and the content that we create. We create all this stuff for him, and it's like, all the stuff that we're doing is basically building block after block, and these things get sent out by email to people, right? So that they can get information. Foods to ease arthritis pain. Somebody's going through arthritis pain, and they're looking, maybe it's a holistic or natural way, but yet they pop on here, and now we're talking about regenerative medicine, stem cells. Well, that could have a really great impact on somebody that doesn't want to go through the traditional methods of, the medicine, right? The pills and opioids and that kind of thing. This is another client of ours, PM&R Associates, right? Look at that site and look at this one, right? Completely different change, completely different process. This is another one. He's out in Chicago, Dr. Tom Loeb. Regenerative Medicine Today. We put him on the magazine cover. We created a great story for him. This is something fun that we give to him, and he gives it out to all of his patients. He mails it out to them for a seminar, confirmation, whatever it may be. He does all of this stuff, and guess what? People love it. It's high quality. We're building the brand. People love him. People buy him. It's not so much that he does the work. In fact, he's never in the office. But they're buying the fact that he's trained his staff to know what he has done. And he does, and he delivers, okay? You see, the way I just showed you those websites, it's very clean, very clear. The first one's a whole bunch of other things. You see, when too many options are presented, visitors just typically click away, right? How many times you go on a website, you're like, oh man, this sucks. I got to leave because I can't find anything that I want, right? When too many options are presented, visitors typically will just click on one of the first few links available, and guess what? If they don't get what they need, they split. Right? And that's usually within a 3-second time frame. And so that's why we create funnels. Not only we create great materials and we create great websites that is going to build the brand, but you also want to create sales funnels. And what are funnels? Funnels are a way to take somebody that has a specific interest and drive them through a series of engagements. Let me give you an example. I play soccer. I have ACL surgeries. So if I was going to look for something, I would look for ACL injury doctor, or if I would look for something, I would look for soccer knee doctor or sports medicine doctor that specializes in knees or something like that. And if I do, and he sends me to the website with all of these other things, I'm going to say, this sucks. I can't really find anything. But if I give them something specific about knee injuries, ACLs, sports medicine, whatever it may be that I'm looking for, I have a higher probability as a patient and as a doctor, there's a higher probability that I will fill out a form or pick up the phone and contact them, okay? Because you're speaking directly to me. I'll sign up for something, and eventually, if you play the 97-3 rule, they're gonna come back and then they're gonna do business with me. So you see, we take them through a certain action. Essentially, if you look at a funnel, it's wide, right, up at the top, and a whole bunch of people go through there. And then ultimately, you're trying to build them down, bring them down, bring them down. And in the first 4 stages, really, you can use technology, and that's what we do. We use technology to filter them out, right? We do quizzes, and we filter them out, getting you quality people that are going to actually do business with you, okay? So you're not wasting your time on stuff. There's many different funnels. There's sales funnels, there's email funnels, webinar funnels, live seminar funnels, irresistible offer funnels. So Groupon. I'll give you an example. Groupon. Groupon is an irresistible offer funnel, right? They'll do like whatever it is, 3 chiro adjustments, exam, back, free drinks, whatever it may be. Come in and we'll charge you $29. And everybody knows that that's an offer. It's an irresistible offer. They take you up on it. You go in and then you try to upsell them into something else. But reality of it is that people are so sick and tired of that these days, especially guys like myself that maybe have a little bit of money that want to spend on certain things. And so if you can just give them specific information about their pain that they're going through, in my case, my knee injury, give them specific information, they'll pay you the money. Okay? They're looking for specifics. You see, each funnel should have an end goal. Closing a sale, obtaining a direct contact, address or phone, signing up for an event. We just did one for Dr. Sonny Kim. He had a 100% show ratio in his seminars. 100% of the people that signed up, we got them to the event. Why? We have about 7 to 10 follow-up sequences. Some of you guys maybe run events inside your office, but then you get all these leads and then nobody ever shows up. It's getting harder and harder to get people into your events. How do we get 100%? Well, we create value. We're saying that, hey, listen, this is a doctor that you should be here to listen to him to speak because he's got some great things to say, and here's all the people that have said it. And then we build value up until that point. Text messaging, email marketing. We send them out physical tickets with a letter thanking them, right? That's an obligation. The law of reciprocity plays fully into effect there. Okay, closing a sale, obtaining a direct contact. Like I said, signing up for a free low-cost offer, purchasing added upgrade products or services, downloading an ebook, right? Signing up for a video. And yes, a book now can be an end goal. A lot of our book nows are end goals, but some of you guys are just driving somebody that has no idea who you are, and you're taking them to somewhere and you're saying, book now, right? How many, like if you ever go into let's say for example, a car dealership, and you go there, think about it this way. You walk into a car dealership and the first thing that a salesperson comes to you and says, buy this now. How are you going to react? Right? Think about that. You're going to react like, oh, whoa. Hang on a second. I'm just trying to get some ideas here, man. Take it slow, take it easy. It's the same. If you take the same relationship building activities that you do inside your office and do it the exact same way. So it might be something like this. You take them from an advertisement, you take them to a website. Give them some information, give them a video, give them an ebook, give them something of value without any upfront. Then once they've gathered that, you take them to a second page saying, hey, you might be interested in this as well. Oh, by the way, if you wanted a consultation, we're not forcing you. If you wanted a consultation, here's how you can get that. Or maybe do a quiz. Find out exactly what they're doing, how they're doing it, and I'll show you. I think I have some examples here. I had a whole complete different set of slides, and then this was my old set. I wanted to update you guys and give you the good stuff. But if I get the text number from my guy Anton, I will actually send you all of these things, and so that you can text in and get all that stuff. So the Amazon funnel, guys, you guys know the Amazon funnel, right? You go to there, you search for a book, you find a book, you buy a book, you add an extra 10 books through suggested books, you check out, and then you wait for the books, right? But here's the thing. They're going to send you an email afterwards, and let's say, for example, you're buying something about real estate investing. You go in, you buy a real estate investing book, you buy that one book, guess what? You're going to get an email asking you to buy, you bought this book, thank you for your purchase, and then underneath they'll show you like 5 other books that are recommended to your purchase or other people bought. That's an upsell, that's a cross-sell, okay? They're trying to segment you in that market. So they're creating a buyer profile and a persona about you. This is a basic funnel, a squeeze page and a thank you page. So in your case, Gertrude, what you can do is a squeeze page and then a thank you page. So they get an ebook, thank you, right? And then there's a seminar funnel. You got to split test your results. This is one we did for Dr. Kim, version A, version B, 10% response rate, 13% response rate. But some of you guys might say, well, that's only 3%. What's the big deal? Well, if you're generating 1,000 clicks, 1,000 people that are coming onto your website, that is a big deal, right? At the end of the day, if we're getting 100% show ratio, that's 30 extra people that come into his seminars, potentially, at 60%, 70% seminar to consultation, and then consultation to regenerative, that's potentially an extra $15,000, $20,000 a minimum. So these small little increments make huge, huge differences in your campaigns. If you guys are running campaigns and everything that I'm sharing with you, they're common sense things. If you guys are running campaigns right now and you guys are doing business with somebody that is creating your marketing, I would check them on this stuff, okay? These are the things that need to be done. Thank you page, additional opportunity to sell. Guess what? We get a registration. We ask them for their friends and family. We don't even ask them are you going to bring somebody? We say to them, who are you going to bring? Who is your guest that you are going to bring in today? And they'll tell us. Here's another one. Stem cell therapy. Find out if you're a candidate. Request info packet. Okay? This is a live webinar funnel. So some of you guys might have a presentation you're sick and tired of doing. In some major markets, the seminar business is dying down. So maybe you send them to a live webinar presentation where you get everybody on a Thursday just like this, or on a Wednesday just like this. You guys went through a landing page, you signed up, you registered, you got the email confirmations. That's essentially sort of like a funnel. Now you're on here on a live webinar funnel. Okay? Webinar sign up, confirmation page, do the live webinar, create your offer. Right? COPD, register my spot now. Okay? Here it is, Thursday, April 20th. Check it out, 11 a.m. Put your information in, get set up. And then here it is. This is actually what we call as an auto webinar funnel. An auto webinar funnel is one that just automatically starts to play at will when you get that information. Okay? This is another one. Your quiz. Is this webinar recorded? If so, how do I get it on the Empire website? I'll let the guys at the Empire answer that for you. Again, Facebook ad into a funnel with a phone number. Collect your consultation. Boom. We track the phone call, so that phone number is actually recorded. And then on the bottom, it's got the left-hand side. You have all of the emails that come in, and you pick up the phone and you follow up. In fact, I actually created a software. I spent $500,000 on the software that will actually give you all of these things automatically. It'll show you how much money you're making. It'll show you all of these things so that you can easily track. Again, guys, 150,000 miles, close to last year, is what I flown to go inside of clinics, working with staff members, working with doctors' wives, figuring out exactly what the issues are. And one of the big issues is they're focusing, they got a book like this, or they got some sticky notes or business cards and stuff like that, and they're writing their leads and stuff like that on there. So that's one of the things that I wanted to create. Oops, calling somebody. 48% of salespeople never follow up. Look at 80% of sales. I talked about this before. 80% of sales are made on the 5th to the 12th contact. That's actually incorrect. Like I told you, I was going to build you a brand new slide deck. 8th to the 12th contact is what the numbers are. So you got to actually do more follow-up. Okay? Because people are now catching on. They're doing 3 contacts. Look at guys, 48% of sales people never ever follow up with a prospect. And it's higher in the medical space. I'll go on and I'll sign up for, I bet you if you guys give me a list of all your websites right now, I'll go on there and half of them, 80% of them will not follow up with me. They'll call me in a couple of days, okay? If you follow up within 5 minutes or less, here's a hint. You follow up within 5 minutes or less, you'll close 22 times more business. 5 minutes or less. People are in the business. They want immediacy. They're in the biz. Like if you're on this phone and you're looking for something, chances are you're not doing a whole lot of research. You're signing up for something because you need that service right then and there. Again, this is a simple funnel. Landing page, register now to book your consultation, thank you. And then we've got a series of emails that go out to them. 102 visitors, 8 contacts, 8% contacts to conversion rate. So we didn't mess around. So to your point, I think it was Gertrude, you create a landing page, you give them all the goods. If you do a good job on your demographic targeting and your ad campaign, you can drive them to this landing page, and yes, you can get. But here's the thing, 8% of those people, that means that 102 visitors, 94 of those visitors did not do anything. They came onto your site and left. So like I was saying, 97% of the people are not ready to do business yet. Okay? So what do we do? How do we combat that? I know if you're like me, you work hard for your money and you like money and you want to keep it. If you work hard for your money and you want to keep it, say yes in the box. Because what you have to do now is you have to create this follow-up sequence and campaign that is going to get people to follow up with you regularly. Well, how do you do that if they're not going to fill out a name, if they're not going to fill out an email address? How do you do that? Well, there's a thing called retargeting. If you go to bobmangat.com and you go to the website, you'll see all my ads popping up everywhere on TMZ, on CNN, whatever site that you're on, it'll start to pop up. That's called wholesale traffic buying, and I'm going to show you that. Here's the example that I just gave you. 8% conversion rate online, okay? 9 phone leads. That means we had 17 total targeted leads. $1,350 ad spend. Cost per lead is $79, okay? $79 for me to get a lead, okay, based on $1,350. Cost per patient. This is the most important. If you guys do not know the average lifetime value of your patient and you're doing advertising and you don't know your cost per patient, it's going to be very hard for you to create a sustainable long-term business. You need to know your numbers. You need to know how much it costs you to acquire a patient, how much it costs you to get a lead. Some of you guys just focus on what does it cost me to get a lead. And then I ask them, I say, what is the lifetime value of your patient? And they don't know. So that's a problem right there. Sure, know your lead costs. It's important. More important to know how much your patients are actually spending with you over the lifetime of their value, of their spend with you. 17% conversion rate lead to patient. That means that out of the 17 total targeted leads, we converted 17%. We can definitely convert more, but the staff was struggling a little bit inside. 3 patients. The lifetime value of that patient, in fact, it was only the first time value, is $3,500. That means that now revenue is $10,500. Great. ROI right off the bat. $1,350 spend, $10,500 return. Okay? Double that $1,350 spend for ad management, whatever it may be that you're paying your marketer. Future revenue is $10,500. If I was to ask you today, you can put in there in the box below, if I was to ask you today, how many of those people that you sign up in your business, how many of those will actually refer a person? Most of the times, people say, Bob, if I can get them into my office, they will refer 1 or 2 patients. Okay? Here's the mistake. What happens is that most people don't count that as part of the first patient value, but it is. Because sometimes it might cost you $1,000 to acquire a patient. Let's say, for example, it costs you $1,000 to acquire a patient, and you only make $1,500 for them. Most business owners that aren't experienced in this type of stuff, they're saying, well, I'm only making $500. I got to pay my staff. I got to pay my cost. I got to pay this. I got to pay that. It's because they don't know their numbers. If you knew your numbers, then you know that $1,500, the $1,000 already paid free, $500 cost. But the referrals that are going to come off that person is where you make your profit. Remember, I said play the long game. Don't be in it for the short game. Okay? Guys, please, if anything, if you are in this business, create great campaigns. Don't create an ad. Ads suck. Ads don't get you dollars. Ad will get you interest, but it does not build a long-term sustainable business. I told you I've been doing this for 22 years. I've built 7-figure businesses every single year. I've created multiple companies. I've helped hundreds of clinics across the world. I just came back from Dubai. I stayed there for a little bit, teaching out there. Guys, understand that these are simple, numbered-based business fundamental foundational principles, okay? Let me give you an example. I'm going to share with you my marketing wheel in a second, okay? So the potential ROI is $21,000. So you spend $1,350, $21,000 in return over the course of the year. You see, I talked about traffic and conversion right in the beginning. A lot about what I'm talking about is traffic, and I'm talking about conversion. In fact, I talk more about conversion than anything about ads or campaigns or anything like that. It's much easier to double your business by doubling your conversion rate than by doubling your traffic. Now, let's say, for example, and what I did with that clinic is they had 17 leads. They only closed 3% of them, or 3 of them. All I have to do is go back and run that same campaign and help them close another 50% more. If I closed 6 of them, their ROI would be through the roof. They would double their ROI. No more ad spend, right? More ad spend doesn't mean more dollars. Look inside your clinic. Look inside your business. Where can you fix the leaks? I say that in a lot of my marketing materials. I say I come in, I find and plug leaks, and those are the things that will create hockey stick curve growth. Okay? This is how you get them. Remember I told you 94 of those patients that came in that looked around and said, they're like my dad walks in the dealership and says, you know what, screw it, I don't like those guys, but I really like that car, right? That's okay, no problem. We're going to serve them with ads until they're ready to do business with us. We're going to get them on. They're going to see our faces everywhere, and guess what they do? They come back and they say, man, I see your face everywhere. Every time I go to a conference, every time I speak somewhere, they go, man, we see your faces everywhere. And I said, yeah, I know. It's intent. And I do it with intent. And this is what we're talking about, intent-based marketing. Let me give you an example. Love the Yankees, big Yankees fan, even though I'm from Vancouver. But I was buying my kids a jacket, and I ended up going in looking for a jacket. I then was scrolling around on TMZ. By the way, if you're looking at like really good headlines or things that you want to post blogs about, you can take the headlines from things like TMZ. Remember, they're in the business of selling stuff. They're creating ads. They get what people, those are the things that people click on. These will give you ideas on how to create your content or how to create your ads or how to create your social posts. You can just change it up for medical terms and that kind of thing. It's very simple. So then I go back onto TMZ, and guess what's up on the top right-hand corner, right? That same jacket staring me in the face. And then I go on to investing.com looking at the Forex market. What is there? That damn Yankees jacket, right? Okay, and then I'm like, I left it in my cart. I didn't buy it because I got busy. It says, don't leave your shopping cart in the dugout. And guess what I ended up doing? I ended up buying it, okay? And that was over the course of probably 3 or 4 days. I saw it everywhere, and I was like, forget it. My son's birthday's coming up. I got to buy it. Had I not done that, I would have just went to the store and bought something. But I ended up buying it, paid preferred, priority shipping, got it to my house within a day or whatever, okay? If you're getting traffic to your business, and I'm telling you guys, this is one of the most profitable pieces that you can ever put on your sites and have somebody manage it, get a chat box on your site. Think about this for a second. When's the last time that you walked into a store, and a clothing store, and nobody said anything to you? Nobody ever asked you, how are you doing? Do you want to try that on? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? If you go to a boutique type store, they'll come up, and this is what I'm talking about, creating a boutique style business. Now you can have a boutique style business, but you can create a big boutique style business, okay? So when you go in there, the thing is that you want to engage with somebody. Somebody wants to engage. You're there to buy something. So what we did was these guys were getting so much traffic, but they weren't converting. I inputted a chat box, a $45 piece of software. I inputted a chat box. Guess what we did? From 21st of May to the 10th of June, 207 new opportunities that came in. New opportunities, 207 that were never ever there before. Okay? We had a 90%, if you go to my website, there's a case study on it. 90% of the people actually came in as a result of those chat boxes. Hi. How many of you guys like chatting with people on the boxes? You don't want to call them. You don't want to enter an email. You just want to get on, sit there and on your phone and talk to them, right? Here's why most people fail, guys. You've got the targeting metrics. You've got your sales funnel. You got your traffic. You got your retargeting all set up. You got your email campaigns. You understand the 8th to the 12th contact. You're getting all these things because it's absolute common sense that these things need to be created, must be created if you want to create a great business and you want to create a profitable business. The thing is now you go after the media. Message market media, right? Or market message media. You have to create those message. You have to create the right market, the patient avatars, the ebooks, the videos, the blog posts, all that kind of stuff. You have to create that stuff, right? But then you got to go and say, okay, well, where is my market, right? Where are these people going on? So I didn't answer your question, Tanya, because you asking about radio ads. If your market serves it, then go after radio ads. Go to your radio person and ask them saying, I did my patient avatar. They're between 50 and 65 years old. Tell me how many listeners you have that are in the age of 50 to 65-year-old that own 2 cars, that own their own home, that make an average household income of $75,000. Can you tell me that? And 99% of them can't tell you that. But things like Google can, things like Facebook can, things like Bing can, those areas can. And before you ever, guys, please do this. Do me a favor. If you're learning here and you're on this call, do not run another newspaper ad. Do not run another radio ad. Do not run another TV ad unless you test it online. You can create the same video ad, go on Facebook, spend $100, and see if somebody is actually going to respond to it. And if they do, chances are you might get a decent response on radio or TV. Okay? I just saved you a boatload of money. Fastest growing demographic on Twitter is 55 to 64. My dad just booked. He's 73 years old. He just booked a ticket on Priceline. I get his emails and it comes into me and he says, "You just booked a ticket to Scottsdale, Arizona." And I'm like, "I didn't do that. What the hell's going on?" I call my dad. I'm like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Yeah, I just got this thing and it was in my feed and I booked it." And I'm like, "Okay, good. Well, that's great." I said, "Here's the thing. When you run an ad to a 65 or 55 or 65 or 70-year-old person, the thing is they're the fastest growing demographic on Twitter and Facebook. Okay? Twitter, not so much. Facebook, right? They're the fastest growing demographic. I have some updated stats. If you guys want that, just put in down below that you want it, and we'll get that for you. But one of the things is that, let's just see. Yeah, so fastest growing demographic, right? And they don't have ad blindness, meaning when we go through and we're searching through, we're expecting ads through our feed. They don't, right? They're just getting on. They're like, virgins of this social media world. They go in and they're like, "Oh, wow, click on this." My dad's got viruses on everything. I'm like, "Stop clicking on that stuff, man. Like, stop it." I had to buy him like 3 computers because he messed it all up. Anyways, most of them are mobile users too. So if your experience sucks on your mobile phone, you got to check that too, because you might be losing revenue that way. You guys rethink it. There's almost I think the last stat was it says Facebook is closing on $2 billion. That was in February 1st, 2017. Like I said, I did not have a chance to upload my latest slides because I changed it all. This is probably from a year ago, but it's the same process, same systems. And anyways, guys, it's over $2.2 billion. That means 1 in every 7 person on the world is on this platform if you're not on it. And just being on it is not good enough. Create your marketing wheel. I'm going to give you an example. I built houses. I've built them. I've invested in real estate. Here's most of your guys' homes. Okay, and when I talk about homes, it's your business. That means that you're focusing on referrals, or you've got one ad that you're running out, or you have one newspaper ad, or a Facebook ad, or something like that. And when it slows down, guess what happens? Right? It becomes a little bit rocky, and then it just all of a sudden crashes. And so what I'm talking about is creating multiple streams, multiple channels. This is not the only source of trainings that I do. I speak at conferences. I just got back from Miami. Our team was just in Nashville. I do regular ads on Facebook, on Google, SEO. I do all of these things. That's what allows me to get hockey stick curve growth. So if you've got and you're resting your business on one level, a lot of guys will say to me, "Bob, my business is built on referrals." I say, "Okay, well, how's that working out for you?" You see, you're limited to the amount of money that you can make if it's based on referrals. Not that it's a bad thing. You obviously have done a great job up until this point, but if you want to get to that next level, you got to start to implement some other things. TV, radio, social media, print ads, PPC ads, these are all channels that you can use. When you create multiple channels of sources, multiple streams of leads and revenue, your house starts to sit on 4, 5, 6 pillars, and it's very hard to come down. Okay, if one thing goes, the other will pick up the slack. You guys getting this? Understand? Pop into the box. Let me know you guys are excited about this stuff, because you can tell that I am. I want you guys to get this because it's really important. That sounds like a lot to do when we see patients and do the procedures. Absolutely. It is a ton. It doesn't mean I don't do this all myself. I have a whole team that does it for me. In fact, like I said, we consult for a lot of the companies out there that allow us to do this for them and help them consult on this. I'm just giving you the concepts, and conceptually, you should know what needs to get done. Okay? TV, radio, social, pay-per-click, all of that stuff. If you have a great message and you craft it into a great offer, then this whole marketing thing becomes much easier. Like I said, you have to understand who your market is and who that message is. Okay? Knowing your numbers is a fundamental precept of business. Bill Gates says, one of the greatest business owners and minds of our time, right? He says that, and this is a live chat, know your numbers, guys. So you got to know your numbers. After each campaign, you need to calculate. And so, like I said, I built a whole software that calculates a lot of this stuff for you guys. And I'm interested, I'll let you guys know at the end of the seminar how you can get access to it. Let's say your target is cost per acquisition. So for example, I talked to you about the dollar amount of what you spend and how much money you made off patient. Okay, that's after every campaign, it needs to be calculated. Let's say your target cost per patient is $175. Okay, $175. You say to me, Bob, if I can get a patient inside my office for $175, I'm good. Okay, cost per action. Let's say we send out a 10,000 direct mail piece, and yes, direct mail still works in many different areas. We do it in our business. Mail cost is about 75 cents per piece, printing and posting, list rental, computer processing, mail processing, all that kind of stuff. $7,500 total, and the response rate is 1/3 of 1%. Or based on 10,000 pieces, you get 33 people that are estimated is the number of patients. Okay, so your 33 cost, mail cost, 33 estimated patients. That means based on this scenario, it's $227 is the cost per patient. Okay, I have a doctor that worked with me, and he says, Bob, if you can give me $150 a patient, I'll do business with you all day long. He did not know his numbers based on his lifetime value. And I said, well, I'm going to challenge that, because what if I get you a patient for $350, but yet you don't even know what that patient is going to actually bring you in revenue? Okay, that patient was actually bringing him in $25,000. If I converted one patient for him, it was costing he was making him in the first year close to $25,000. Okay, here's the thing, guys. At $25,000, he was stuck on the $150 or $175 cost per patient number. And I said, that's not the right way to think. Then I said to him, I said, if I was to bring you a $25,000 patient, how much would you pay me today? He said, well, I pay you $2,500, I pay you $5,000. I said, okay, so you understand that it's a cost of acquisition, and what you're going to make on the back end should be relevant to that cost of acquisition. Okay, if you are getting a $50 patient, you can't spend $1,500 to acquire them, right? It's going to cost you more to acquire a higher dollar value patient. Okay, does that make sense, you guys? Let's assume now, so I'm going through this scenario. Let's assume a patient visits 2 times per year, $500 per visit, and it's $1,000 per year. Based on the mailer example, acquiring 33 new patients, the campaign would bring in a $33,000 campaign cost. $7,500. The cost per lead method was a failure, right? He says to me, $175 cost per lead. If you can't get that, I don't want to do business with you. And I said, that's the wrong way of thinking about it. You got to look at it from the lifetime value of it. And that's why campaigns become wildly profitable. Okay? Again, focus on conversion. Leads called back within 5 minutes or less have a 22 times greater chance of converting. Work with your staff on how to close more patients. Remember, it's easier to double your business by doubling your conversion rate than by spending more money on doubling your traffic. Increase in 5 to 10% conversion also reduces your average cost per acquisition. So for example, if I'm spending $175 and my conversion rate is 10%, right? If I go to 20% conversion rate, that now drops to half of that $175. You guys getting this? Okay? Split test landing pages, emails, all that kind of stuff. Real lifetime value calculations. The patient income, so now we've got that $33,000 or $1,000 per patient of the lifetime value. Our referral income is going to come $2,000 because he's going to refer 2 people, and those 2 people are going to spend $1,000 each over the first year, and this is what the real value of a campaign is. Okay? Create expert-focused websites. I showed you Sonny Kim. He's focused on the knee pain. Yet if you go into and talk to him, it's about patient acquisition. You bring in people, you get somebody to come in, and you learn about their services, and he learns about them, and he does the consultation like he would with anybody, not just focusing on the knee pain, not just focusing on whatever they came in. The consultations always stay the same. You don't change it just because they logged in and they wanted to go and do something else. Bring them through the same funnel type of process, but create multiple streams of income. So what I mean by that is you might have a knee pain consultation funnel. You might have a hip pain, a shoulder pain, an aesthetics. You might have all these different things like I showed you, and all of those things will drive it in. And it doesn't matter what that patient has actually come in for. You're going to do your consultation to give them an overall sort of a outlook on their service, right? Or on their position. Because that's what it is. You don't know if they might be interested in knee pain, but they could have back pain. They could have other things going on with them. So I'll let you guys deal with that. I find that Groupon does not bring in high value 100% because you're going after the bottom. You know, I'm not disrespecting people in any way, but people that are going on there are looking for a deal. And so guess what they're going to do when they come into your office? They're going to look for a deal. So if you don't create high value, high perceived value information that you're going to give them and furnish with them, then you're going to be stuck providing services to those people that are always looking for a deal, right? Set expectation, add a guarantee. It doesn't have to be treatment related. A lot of people think, well, I don't guarantee anything in my service. I don't guarantee that this is going to work for you. You don't have to guarantee that. What I mean by that is like we guarantee that we're going to pick up the phone in 5 minutes. We'll guarantee that you're going to be 100% satisfied with the service, or we'll give you a gift card to the local restaurant for $100. Whatever it may be. Okay, it doesn't have to be. I'm going to guarantee you that you're going to get better, because we all know don't do that. We're not going to guarantee that stuff. I call it a bat line. You know, if you ever watch Batman and the old shows, they have this little bat line. It only rings when there's a certain problem. You can create that as a VIP type of level. Hey, listen, we're going to give you not the office line where you're going to stick in a 45-second, thing, press 1, 2 for this. We're going to give you a direct line to us, because if you're spending $15,000, we want to treat you like a VIP that you should be, right? So start to create that. You guys ever go to like a Louis Vuitton or a Gucci or anything like that? Guess what? The bags are probably the same cost as anything else, okay? It's how you feel. It's the status. People buy emotionally. They don't buy logically, okay? My dad bought a $100,000 Mercedes car. That was not the logical choice. It was emotional choice. It was a status thing, okay? When you go into those shops, you go in there, you buy a $3,000 handbag, and you walk out of there and you feel great, right? You're never like walking out like with your head down and saying, man, I just bought this $3,000 handbag. This is stupid. No, you go in there because they wrap it up. They take it out with their white gloves. They open the zipper. You can open the zipper, right? But they do it, and you're just like, you're involved. When you go into the shops next time you go and buy something, look at that stuff. It's amazing. And then they go back into the secret room back there, right? They come back in the secret room and they come and wrap it all up and they give it to you. They come walk it out to you. Thank you for your business, and then see you off, and you feel great. That's the type of level of service that I'm talking about. If you're going to create high dollar value service, and I'm not talking just about stem cell, regenerative, I'm talking about anything, aesthetics, I'm talking about whatever it may be. If you're going to create those types of services, you've got to create a great brand, a great position, and a great VIP type level service, okay? 3 tiers of options. I was talking to you guys earlier about the pricing and packaging. For some of you guys that did miss it, what I'm talking about is giving them choice. Some of you guys give them a price and they say, hey, listen, this is my price. And guess what the patient's going to say? Say, thanks, doc. I'm going to go home and think about it. Okay? If you go into any type of service, if you go to the car wash will be like, hey, this is a basic. This is the most popular, but this is the bronze. You get the kick-ass wax that is going to make your car shine. I'm going to do the undercarriage, and then we're going to do all the rims and all that kind of stuff. Man, it's the same stuff, just a few things added, right? But if you look at the pricing difference from a $7 car wash to a $25 or $29, you're like, man, I saw this thing for like $6 and now it's like $30. What's going on here? But yeah, you got the top of the line wax, and you got you're choosing, you're giving them choice. And as a consumer, we want choice. We want to be the ones who make the decision. We don't want that decision to be made by you. Give me a few options. Give me a few choices. Don't overwhelm them. You can give them 1 or 2, or you can give them 2 or 3. And they will choose right there and then which one it is. And guess what? Some of you guys asked about pricing and packaging. If you have 3 pricing, everybody will choose the middle pricing. 20% will automatically choose the gold. That's just the way it is. There's people like me. It doesn't matter what you do. You could have less things in the gold. I don't care. I want the best thing. Charge me whatever the hell, but I want to be top VIP, whatever it is. right? Some of you guys are on here and you're like, yeah, that's how I shop, okay? That's how patients shop. That's how we do it. When you go in there, you want to create a 3-tier option. Let them choose between you and you. You've done all the hard work. You've done the brand building, the positioning. You've demographic targeted. You've marketed to them. You've brought them through the funnel. You've nurtured them. You've called them. You've followed up 8 to 12 times. Now you got them in their office. It doesn't stop there, right? Dating does not stop when you get married, right? And neither does the sale. The sale does not stop just because they came into your office. It consistently happens over the life of that customer. Here's how we're going to show you how to build and grow it. Once you know all these numbers, you know, okay, you've created your brand, you built all these things, you've gone in and you looked at their market, their demographic, their message market media, you looked at all these things, you've had somebody to help you create all this stuff, build a great brand position, emails, all that kind of stuff. Great. Now you know you want to start to create a prospect to close process. And I built a software that actually maps out all this stuff. If you don't know this, then use the numbers below as a starting point, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a prospect and I'm going to funnel them down. So for example, a prospect that comes in from a lead from a website or whatever it may not do business with you right now. Remember I told you the 97 versus the 3%. Only 3% will really filter down to the commitment level in the first go around, okay? So if you look at this example, 500 of those people actually came in as a prospect. 100 of them came in to a first appointment. 50 of them actually showed up to your first appointment. So what I'm saying is that 500 came in, they saw your ad, they filled out a form, they went on a funnel, they bought, they signed up for a consultation, they downloaded your ebook, they did whatever it was, okay, that you wanted them to do. 100 of them said, yeah, I'm okay with doing a first appointment, I'll do that. But listen, remember, I said the dating doesn't stop when you get married. The sale doesn't stop until they actually come and give you their money, and even after that, okay? So a lot of the times what I get is people say, Bob, you know what? Nobody ever shows up to my appointments, or nobody ever shows up to the seminars. I shared with you yesterday, Dr. Kim had a 100% conversion rate show-up rate at his office. 100% of the people that signed up actually showed up to his office. That's an amazing stat, even for us. And I'm not just saying that to brag. It's something that we've been diligently working on because we know that if we can double the conversion rate, we'll double his business on the back end. So 100 people come to the first appointment, but only 50 of them showed, okay? So we're going to track these numbers. 25 of those actually made a commitment. So if I know these numbers, right, guys, if I know these numbers, then I know that, okay, well, I know the percentages of where everything's at. I can reverse it all, and I can start to drive more traffic. If I want to double my business at this number, I could do one of two things. I can increase the conversion rate from a prospect to a first appointment, or I can increase the conversion rate from a first appointment to a consultation so that they actually show up, or I can just double my ad spend. So if it costs me $1,000 to get 500 people in my prospect, I can spend $2,000, the same conversion rate, and I'll make 50 sales. Okay? This is how you scale your business. This is what I was showing you, those two plaques on the wall. Exactly what I did. I figured out, I built the persona, I built the market, I built the targeting, I built everything. Once I did that, I put it to market. I tested it, I tracked it, I nurtured them, I brought them in, and I sold them. And once I figured out what these numbers were, I scaled it. I put more money in, I increased my conversion, and I was able to do that in record time. And so it's, again, guys, it's much easier to double your business by doubling your conversion rate than by doubling your traffic. How many of you guys are getting this? Give me a hell yes. Just say yes. I don't want to say anything, but just say yes. We get it. We understand it. This is good stuff. How many of you guys know that I haven't even showed you like a few ads? I didn't really talk about that. I'm talking about fundamental business principles. These are how. It doesn't matter what ad you get. A lot of people out there will sell you some ad campaign or the next shiny object. That crap does not matter. If you don't have these things figured out, chances are it's not going to work. You're going to be spinning your wheels constantly on a regular basis. Listen, guys, I teach over 150 agencies across the country. Last year in November, I had over probably 120 of them come out and learned my exact same system. So a lot of the people that you probably see online are probably using a similar system or not my system to convert you guys. There's people that can go online on a webinar over the weekend and actually learn how to run Facebook ads, and then they're telling you, I'll provide you with opportunities or leads. How many of you guys get that? Yeah, I'll provide you with opportunities, and then they'll come back and say, okay, great, but it's your fault. Gertrude, it's your fault. Henry, you suck at converting these leads. My leads are great. I call BS on that. I think it's a regular commitment to increasing the conversion between you and myself, and it's a partnership, nothing more. The reason why they say that is because they do not understand the intricacies of how to run a business. I shared with you 22 years of going through this, of building multiple seven-figure businesses, not just for myself, but for other people. I put my money where my mouth is. Everything that I test, I track, I try for me first, and then I roll it out for you guys. It's not just about a website. I don't care about websites. I don't care about any about that. It's about understanding what you guys are about. It's about understanding your message, who your target market is, the right media, creating the right message, nurturing those people, getting them in, and scaling the crap out of it so that you can create a great life and create stress-free freedom. I work maybe about 20 hours a week. I'm going to Bali for about 7 weeks. I can work wherever I want in the world. I said to you, I've done a lot of things right in my life, but it's not through challenge, trial and error, heartache, headache, problems, issues. I've been through many of those things, and I want to share those things with you. Guys, don't fall in love with your product or service. Fall in love with your ideal patient, okay? Don't fall in love with your product service. This is exactly what I'm saying. Don't focus on the competition. Focus on your customers. This is what is going to change your business for you. If you start to fall in love with your ideal patient, fall in love with Mary, who just came in and had, such a great result with her knees, had such a great result with her aesthetic or facial, like fall in love with that person, understand who they are, understand where they hang out, understand all of that kind of stuff. You don't need money to do all that stuff, just to understand those people. A lot of the times we're focusing on the technology. I didn't tell you about one piece of technology on here, and you guys understood my presentation. If I sat here and showed you everything about what I have to do or the technology that I use, you'd get bored and you'd be like, man, this is way over my head. I'm showing you fundamental business principles, okay? We manage this all for you guys. If you guys are interested, you can go to bobmangat.com, BOBMANGAT.com. There's a red button on the top right-hand corner, and here's my guarantee. Go on the top right-hand corner. There's an application button. Fill it out. There's absolutely no obligation. And here's my guarantee, you guys. If you apply for it, and I do a full profit one-on-one potential consultation with you guys today, and if you feel that I've wasted your time, if you absolutely feel that this was a waste of your time, I will donate $1,000 to a charity of your choice. Okay? That's $1,000. So you have nothing to lose. I've got everything to risk here. Go to bobmangat.com, BOBMANGAT.com, and go click on the right-hand button, and I will actually ship out a copy of my book and a bunch of other things that you can get access to, okay? We'll map it out. We'll go live. We'll map it out on the thing. That's Dr. Loeb and a bunch of other people, and we'll sit in front of the thing and crank it out for you guys. So go there now, bobmangat.com, BOBMANGAT. Click on the Apply Now button, fill it out. We're going to text you. We'll set up a time, and we're going to walk you through step by step. Worst case, charity profits. To this day, I have not had one person ask me to donate $1,000, and I've done close to 1,000 of them. You're welcome, Dr. Mons. Let's ask any questions. Anybody got any questions? We're waiting for questions. You're welcome, Alyssa. Thank you very much, Dr. Motz. Thanks for coming on. What is the website again? I will post it on there. What is a typical startup with your company? It's very, very difficult to answer because I don't know what I'm working with. It's like going to a mechanic and asking them, how much does my car cost? He's not going to know. In fact, here's a really good lesson for you guys. Anytime you ever get a patient calling up and saying, well, what does this cost me? And you're like, man, what should I say? Should I tell them the cost? Should I not tell them the cost? And when I do tell them the cost, they'll say, thank you very much, click, right? The idea is this. You tell somebody saying, listen, when you pick up the phone and you call a mechanic and you ask them saying, how much is my car going to cost? What does the mechanic tell you? The mechanic's going to say, well, buddy, I don't really know because I have not even seen your car. I have to put it up on a hoist. I have to run some diagnostics, and then I have to figure out if we're going to use, aftermarket parts or brand new parts or whatever it may be. So you got to really bring yourself in, or you got to bring it in, and we can kind of see. But if you want a general idea, we have, please, so you can message Anton at invigoMedia. But we have a general idea, and we have some clients that spend $500 per month with us, and that's on a basic level. Or we have some clients that spend, $5,500, $7,500 a month. It just really depends on you, and so don't take that with any weight. We look at your business, we see what you're doing today. If you're making $100,000 a year, well, you're not going to afford it. So we have to start small, and we build it, and we grow it, and we tweak it, we track it. And if you're doing, $2 million a year, well, $500 is not going to do anything for you. You got to step it up. And so go to bobmangat.com, mangat.com. You can email Anton if you want. Go there, and we'll send you out whatever we need to do. We can ship you out a package as well, a bunch of stuff, and get you on a call. We'll map it out for you, see how it is, and we'll go from there. So you're welcome, Ruber. Evergreen. I was learning about that and was looking to start using it with Facebook campaigns. I'm not sure what you mean by evergreen, but if you're looking at Evergenius is actually a software that I built. I spent 2 years of my life, that I used to build a system to help you guys, convert more people. And if you go to evergenius.com, it's absolutely free to sign up and set up, and you just pay per use, and we can get you on that way or however you guys like. We're here to serve. Again, go to, if you don't have that, I'll pop it in there again. And you're welcome, Philip. Let me know if there's anything that we can do for you, help you out in any way, whether or not we do business or not. It's okay. We want to help and serve you guys in the best way possible in this community of Empire, and we wish everybody success. Right? That's what we want. And yeah, you're welcome, Henry. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much, and we're signing off.